This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
On the hard court, many a professional basketball player has been denied hoisting the Larry O'Brien Trophy because of the dominance of Michael Jordan's Chicago Bulls. On the links, many a golfer suffered the same fate thanks to Tiger Woods. And on the football pitch, Brazil kept many outside looking in. The Rolling Estonian, Errol Num, is this series' Jordan, Woods, Pele. But one driver patiently waited his turn to wear the crown, and that time has finally come for David Third Degree Burns. With 2 races to go and a 42-point lead in the points, only a vengeful fit from the racing gods will deny Burns his first title. Sanctioned by the Absolute Beginner League from Watkins, Glen, it's the penultimate round of the 16th Formula Eagle Championship. And you can watch all the simulated Dallara Formula 3 action from green flag to victory donuts live as it happens right here on the Global Sim Racing channel via the iRacing Esports Network. Happy Easter, everyone, and welcome. Way up in the press box to bring you our Word's Eye view is yours truly, Bill Soupson, joined by my longtime and Formula Eagle booth mate, Adam Young. Sean Crackers Ambrose has director duties armed with cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Adam, when I looked at our in-house GSRC commentator schedule and I saw that you and I were paired for today's race, I had to smile because as we were together watching Errol Num win season after season, so you can certainly appreciate the wonderfulness of David Third Degree Burns' situation.
Yeah, so much has changed in the Absolute Beginners League here since the last couple of seasons. I had the pleasure of being able to drive with these guys for a little bit before, real life took over on Sundays a little bit too. And, it was great being out there with the likes of Euro Num, with Tuan Tran, and now David Burns also still out there and now going for that championship. And pretty much his season just has to go down the tubes in order for him not to win this thing. He just has to be consistent from here on out. But he's got to do it today. He's got to stay consistent on a track called Watkins Glen. And Watkins Glen is one of those places that really anything can happen at. 12 turns. We're running the boot configuration here for today, 3.4 miles. If you don't know a lot about Watkins Glen, it really came to be what we know of it here today, beginning in 1971. Before that, it was a permanent circuit, but even before that, it was public roads. And it just kind of transformed. And the biggest transformation as far as the layout, last one occurred in 1992. If you remember way back in 1991, I'm pretty sure Sean and Soup both know about this. Of course, Tommy Kendall's big accident there going into the loop, and then also J.D. McDuffie, who tragically lost his life there. Also, that's when they put in the inner loop, and we'll be running that configuration out there today with that chicane. But, of course, best way to get an idea of what Watkins Glen's all about, if you've never been here, take a lap in the GSRC car.
All right, we've got Eric Smith and the GSRC Formula 3, so let's do a lap around Watkins Glen. Turn 1 is going to be a tempting place to try and overtake, but it has its drawbacks. For one, it's easy to overshoot it with the downhill braking. 2, it empties into the climb up the S's and onto the back straight. Because you won't be lifting for a long time, the draft is going to get pretty powerful. So even if you pass someone, they could get you right back before the next braking zone. And that next braking zone is into the inner loop. Normally this is a good spot to pass for most cars, but you're not getting on the binders until after you turn in, so it's gonna be risky unless you're pretty far past the car you're battling with. From there you enter the carousel, which just needs a bit of a lift to make it through. You'll want to find the throttle as soon as you're sure it'll stick, because most drivers will be sizing you up into the chute for an overtake. Do your best to avoid overcorrecting a slide through here, because if you spear into the outside barrier, it's going to be an almighty shunt. As we continue downhill, you now hit the toe of the boot. This is another spot where a pass may be tempting, but if you come in too deep, you won't have much momentum for the steep climb up the exit. There's just not a lot of grunt in this little car, so fail to carry your speed and everyone's going to blow by you on the run towards the heel, which is honestly your last decent place for a pass. After that, turn 9 returns us to the main circuit, but this is one of the toughest corners on the track. It's off camber with a blind crest and frighteningly little runoff on either side. The penultimate corner might need a bit of a confidence lift to get through, but definitely avoid going too wide or you'll both lose tons of time. Then on the final turn, you'll be flirting with that tire barrier to the outside, which sits right at the edge of the track. But hopefully you've now finished a lap around Watkins Glen.
Joe Peak doing what nobody does any better, and that is take the viewer around a racetrack. This time, the road racing course here at Watkins Glen. All right, I'm going to take you through the twists and turns of the point standings. Let's go ahead and start with what they call the F1 driver standings, and we've talked about it before. David Third Degree Burns has 2 wins, has yet to miss a top 5 finish, and really, he's here today. Nothing really before him. Unless the wheels come off the cart, that championship is his for the taking. The Sintra sensation, Yal Valverde, sits in second. Now, he has a pair of runner-ups and a win, but he is not here today. Ludic Sowers having his best season ever with results of 7th, 10th, 5th, 6th, and 3rd, and he's out there putting in the qualifying time right now. Michael Hofladezen, the season started with such hopes for him, not only winning the F2 championship, but maybe making a run at the F1 championship. Well, the things haven't gone his way. He's in 4th and dropping like a pigeon. But I can't wait to talk about this guy. GSRC has been all over the success of John Morgan, the cleanest driver without contestation of any this season. It's great to see him now in a tie for 4th. Well done for one of the only few star and stripers out there. All right, let's look at the F2 driver standings. This one is interesting now. Because the F2 standings is scored separately from how they do in the overall championship, you'll see Morgan way down in 5th position. That's because they score it differently. We talked about Sauer and Hofladezen up on top. The Strudelmeister, Thomas Kick sitting in 3rd. Last Simon, another American driver, sitting in 4th. Finally, let's go to the team championship. This thing is all said and done. Good night, Nurse, as 2 stupid dogs are going to get this one. The longtime duo of Burns and Bream, that's Vince and Bream, up on top. That team crushing the rest of the guys. Team talent with Mr. Excitement, Leon Quinn, and Yal Valverde, neither of which of them are here today. A very small field today, by the way. We'll talk about that more in a minute. NHR Esports AM Racing Team, that has Hofladezen and the Strudelmeister, and then Team Attrition. Now, this one's coming on. Watch out for these guys with Adams and Morgan. Morgan making a run to maybe get a podium here in the standings. All right, that takes us through the points. We're always picking up new viewers. Let's go ahead and have Adam talk about the race details.
Yeah, and leave those team standings up there here for just a second there. I want to point out that Team Attrition, okay, you mentioned they might have a shot at the podium standings here. The teams in front of them with NHRE Sports and AM Racing Team, those teams that don't have anybody here. So that's going to be great for maybe Team Attrition, maybe get some points out there today. Okay, let's go ahead and head over to those events details here for today. Of course, Season 16. I mean, Soup, we started calling this, way back in like Season 6, 7, 8, I don't know, but we're on Season 16 now and almost done with Season 16. Round 6 to 7, of course, there's no drop races here. We're going to go around 60 minutes around the Glen here for today. Now, they do run open setups, and there is a reduced fuel window too. And now that's going to do is guarantee at least 2 pit stops. Hey, I don't want to jinx him or anything, but it could make things interesting. I've seen David Burns short fill before, so hopefully that doesn't happen today. I'm not going to try to put the curse on him or anything, but it has happened. In-state cap, of course, is a 24 as well. So those 2 pit stops could make things interesting over the course of 60 minutes, Soup. Really looking forward to that.
Small field, but this draft track should make it competitive out there. We should have a good race.
Yeah, I'm thinking so. I'm thinking so. I mean, you got a couple of guys in practice that were within a couple of tenths of each other. we're looking at qualifying. The qualifying still hasn't shaken out. And hey, Vincent Brim, get out there. I didn't see Vincent earlier, so maybe he just showed up. No, apparently he's been in here since the session started. But Vincent Brim putting down a good time here so far now, running second on the leaderboard. David Burns coming around. He's coming to the stripe. I think this is going to be a timed lap for him. Let's see what David Burns is able to put down. And move him up into the original pole spot, 38.252.
We talked about Burns and Bremen. Of course, those are the two teammates for Two Stupid Dogs who sit at the top of the point. Great catch by Adam there to see that there are the teams in second, third, and fourth. No drivers here for any of those guys. So, yeah, great chance for people to pick up points farther down the road. Let's go ahead and talk about a driver that's been around for a long time. Can we put it on car number 666? That's Frederick Neptune. Adam, you and I have been calling his races for a long time. He's yet to put in a qualifying time.
Yeah, I think he's on a time lap now. He's kind of going down through the boot section there. So we'll see what the Scandinavian is able to do here. But Frederick Neptune, of course, one of those guys that's been around for a while, been looking for some success. He's had good races and not so good races over the years. And hope for a good one here for today out of him. His practice time left a little bit to be desired, but you also don't know if that was like any kind of draft or lack of draft there. So we'll ride around with him here and see what time he's able to put down for a qualifying time.
Interesting enough, I believe he might have a championship or two under his belt, as he was often teamed up as the partner.
Yeah.
Euronome.
Yeah, Euronome.
I think
we've been at this so long, Soup. It all runs together.
I think if my 96-year-old mother-in-law, Mama Jean, if you're watching, I think if you could have been the teammate of Euronome, you might have got yourself a team championship there. Really, it was all about riding the coattails. Newton gets in a qualifying time, sitting ninth.
You want to talk about riding the coattails, though? I'll tell you that David Burns was nice enough to share his setup with everybody. We're looking at John Morgan here as he's coming to the line. See if he's able to put down a pretty decent time. He ran a 39.533 earlier. This time won't be better than that. But David Burns shared his setup in session, and we talk about riding the coattails. I was able to get into the 39s with his setup. So hey, and that's only after a couple laps. So I was happy with myself on that one. So I think he likes to help out the series and get everybody kind of on the same level playing field.
We're looking here at Josh Bray. Now, of course, we called this series. This is sanctioned by the Absolute Beginner League. Don't be fooled by that. There's a lot of top talent here, but they do welcome in newcomers, and they're happy to help you. But Adam and I have been around a long time, and while it's still called Adam Formula Eagle, it has made several, there's several different manifestations of it. We've the Skippy, and then there was the, the Renault that we were racing there for a while.
I think that was only for a season or two.
And then now we're in this higher Dallara F3.
The introduction of the F2 standings as well is been kind of an evolution.
Here's Vincent Brame hustling that car around. Hey, I got news for you. John Morgan just made a mistake. I know it's only practice, but this guy, I don't know if I mentioned it, he only has 3 incidents the entire season.
Woo.
This guy is Mr. Clean.
I'm going to guess those were all off tracks.
Yeah, might have been. Might have been somebody smashing into him after the checkered flag, the way he races. Here's Ricard Coulomb. Has Coulomb put in a time yet? He has indeed. He sits in 7th.
Yep, that time right there was that 39.316 was his first time.
All right, Adam, now you've been away for a long time. It's taken me a long time to get used to this, but this is a 2-stop race today.
Right.
Keep that in mind. Talk about force of habit. Many a times I've said, okay, they got their 1-stop in, they're good to go.
Has anybody taken over the early peel, late reveal strategy?
I have yet to see it. No, that's
okay. That was a Euronome thing. Okay.
Yep. We're talking about early peel. You peel off early, they forget about you, and when all the stops are done, you're up there in the front. Hey, here's Ludwig Sauer sitting atop the F2 standings. and I believe third overall in the overall standings.
Now, Ludwig's another one of those guys. He's been around forever in this series, and it's great to see him have a great season.
Sauer, of course, the Dutch driver. Here's Vincent Bream. Longtime partner with David Burns. Boy, they've been together for a long time, longer than many marriages of my friends. Now, there's a driver we haven't talked about yet sitting on the pole. It's Dennis Garrison. He's happy with his time. He put a 138 flat in. He will be David Burns' only competition today, we think, unless the draft keeps everybody in the hunt, which could happen.
Yeah, well, don't look now, because Josh Brain, the last time around, he said, and he beats only 100th of a second off the pole for Josh Brain.
Yeah, that's not to downplay Josh's talent, but that's way out of character. Well done from him.
Okay, so I guess officially it looked like, officially on the timing and score, it came down to be about 300s, but still, I mean, that's pretty dang quick. Let's see if Ludwig's able to improve his time here at all, coming down the front straight away. Ran a 38.737 before, and not going to be able to improve that time.
And honestly, the times of like the top 6 or 7 or 8 are probably quick enough where they might be able to hang on.
And I think that's it. Brem this time won't be official. He went off track just a moment ago. So he's coming down pit road here, and I think it's going to do qualifying here, Sue.
Very disappointed. There was a driver in here, Jaume Torres, we were hoping might be able to go to the grid. We've seen him do really well in the MX-5. Not going to race with us here today. This is going to be a very small field when it's all said and done. 11 drivers put in qualifying time. Not sure how many will grid up. On the front row, let's take it a row at a time, Adam. Dennis Garrison's going to be inside of Josh Brain.
Yeah, and then we got our points leader, David Burns. He'll be starting alongside Fabian Youngbluth.
Ludwig Sauer sitting in the 5th position, flanked by Vincent Bream.
Ricard Colum out there in row 4. Alongside him, as you've been talking about, the ultra clean John Morgan.
Marcus Stahl in the number 9 spot. Orbiting outside of him is Frederick Neptune.
All right, then we've got Lance Simon. He will be starting in 11th. Alongside him, if he makes the green, will be Jaume Torres. And then Cardi, Podacek, and Hutstra all are not in the session. So looks like just 6 rows of cars here for today, Sue.
I certainly hope Podacek comes here, because when I first started commentating this series, I spent a long time working on the pronunciation of that name. He hasn't been around much with us here today. Garrison is on the pole. Brain is next to him. A very impressive performance from that driver. Burns is back in 3rd, just looking to avoid any nonsense. But even with a small field like this, if disaster were to strike, it would not be that costly. Fabian Youngbluth sitting in 4th. 2 stops ahead of us. We race here at Watkins Glen. That does have the inner loop, which takes the what makes the Calliope play a little slower, and the ponies go up and down a little more gently when you go to the carousel. See how I did that there? I tied in the carousel.
Yeah. Smooth.
I know. We're professionals here at GSRC. Have we looked at the weather? Let's go ahead and get that up real quick. Well, we have some time to wait here. We'll throw that up, take a peek at it. Pleasant enough here in New York.
I'll take that weather.
Go ahead. That's your job.
All right. No, I mean, I'll take it. Like 76 degrees is for afternoon temperature. Yeah, I'll take it right now.
Look at that
here.
Look at that beautiful, cloudless New York sky pushing down on the track. My goodness, what a good day to go sim racing. Gather up the chickens, take cover behind the cows. The horses are out of the barn. It is Dennis Garrison leading them into the 90. That is corner number 1. How many people will get through there so far? Everybody going okay. 2 by 2 back there a little bit farther. That is Sawyer getting the best of Youngbluth for 4th position.
It was like everybody was able to get off the grid and through the first couple of corners just fine. And here we go down the back straightaway. You're going to get to see that draft at play here right off the bat.
Josh Bray, not sure if he's ever led a lap here in this series. He's going to be first to the inner loop. Garrison behind him. Burns is next. They all make it through.
As they go through the outer loop, now heading down into the boot section. Josh Brain actually able to get a little bit of a gap here on Garrison. And of course, Garrison closes that right up as they go through the toe.
Head down the sole of the boot now towards the heel. Then they come up to what I think, for me, there's a few corners. Turn 5 at Road Atlanta gives me a hard time. Turn 6 at Laguna Seca. And turn 9 here, I just cannot get this one. No problem for these guys.
I've never had a car that didn't want the back end to come out on me going around there, so I feel you on that one too. I think Josh Moran's going to get himself his lap led here. We'll see if he's able to hold it going down to turn 1, but he's going to get the lap here right now.
He got it. Leading lap number 1. It is Josh Bray. Congratulations. What are we going to do tonight, Brain? How about win at Watkins Glen?
Now, I fully expect Garrison to get him here on the back straightaway, but we got a battle back here for 6th and 5th, 7th. Ludwig Sauer, Stahl, Youngblood. They're going to go 3 wide down the backstretch here.
Careful, boys. We don't have a lot of cars here. We don't want to lose them too early. Stahl gets the best of that one. Sawyer now in 6th. Watching everything was maybe in Youngblood. Maybe the wisest up to 3.
Hop on board Ludwig Sauer here. They head down to the chute through turn 6. Ah, man, they are so close there, Soup. Thought about 3 wide there for a second.
Easy, guys. They are dancing in the tango in the China shop right now. But the porcelain stays on the shelf. Here comes Youngblood on the outside now of Stahl. Now through the heel, and he gets it.
Ooh, Ludwig really had to back out of it there. He's going to lose a spot. He actually drops back quite a bit, going back to John Morgan back there. John Morgan's going to give him quite a bit of room.
Right on board with Sauer, looking back at Mr. Clean, John Morgan. Now, this is not Morgan's modus operandi. This is not how he likes to work. He likes to just go out there and run clean laps. He'll race with you, though. And he's got Richard Colomb right behind him.
All right, now that calmed down, we'll see if Garrison's able to do anything here with Brain. They're heading back up to the back straightaway, going through the S's right now.
Brain led lap 1, led lap 2, and is now on lap 3. Garrison beginning to close. Look at David, third-degree burns, having a hard time staying with him. Here comes Garrison. He's going to wait. A lot of racing yet to go. No need to force it this early.
That is the best passing opportunity on this racetrack right there. Coming off the back straightaway, going into the inner loop. And I think right now Garrison's just kind of hanging out. What's going on? Oh, see Gasol off track.
He was being pressured. Might be fun to look on this from Sawyer's point of view as it happened right over his right wheel. This is Sawyer making a move on the outside as they go into the inner loop. I think it put Gasol in a position of taking a defensive line that he's probably not used to taking.
Yeah, and it looked like he just hit the back bumps and maybe bottomed out a little bit on the under tray of that car, and he just lost the rear grip. And able to keep it out of the tire barriers. I don't see any damage on his car, so just pride and position.
As we come back, and now we're looking at Gasol. You know, it's funny, Adam, as a perpetual back marker, when I practice, I have to make sure that I not only practice the fastest racing line, but half of my race is on a line that I don't want to race on, as we look at this battle with Brain being chased by Garrison. Sometimes you got to practice the line that you don't want to take. Oh, boy, really wide. That's what you can do here at Watkins Glen. Frederick Neptune looks like he's going to have an early day, or unless he's pitting early, just trying to get off.
His front wing's off the car. Looking to see what happens here.
He lost it.
Turn 6, caught the grass, nosed it into the Armco. You know, these Formula cars, they don't drive too well without the front wings.
Coming at you.
Just in case you didn't know.
I would think that would be the case. You know, that's funny though, because we've covered so many races with the Skippy where we've seen drivers lose their wing and still be relatively competitive. The front wings on the Skippy are 95% cosmetic almost.
Yeah, you know, when you barely get above 100 miles an hour. Yeah.
Brain being chased by Garrison. Garrison was the runner-up driver last season, finishing behind Alex Janssen, the Swede with speed. Janssen has made a few appearances this season, but is building, I believe, either pedals or a wheel. I think it was pedals. He's building some pedals, so he had to disassemble his rig. Josh Brain. Nice job, Josh.
He certainly has pace. The guy that's surprising me that's kind of fallen off here so far has been David Burns. I mean, granted, he doesn't have to push it. He really doesn't have anything to really win or lose.
There's Burns racing in third.
And he just has to, podium finish he'd be just fine with. So I think he's more than content right now to let Brain and Garrison up there battle it up. And in turn, I think Garrison is more than content right now to run second to Josh Brain and just kind of wait to see how things shake out, maybe even after that first pit stop.
Let's go back to fifth position. Fabian Youngbluth, about a half second behind Vincent Brain.
Can we go a couple of cars back? Let's go back to Ricard Colum and Yame Torres. And Torres here has been the car that's been on the move. He started shotgun on the field in 12th. He's up to 8th.
This is the driver I wanted to talk about. This Yame Torres, we know, he's come on the scene late racing in the MX-5s. He did not put in a qualifying time. I talked about him before we went to grid. I wasn't sure if he was going to race with us. This guy is a really good racer. Let's see what he can do in these right now. He'll be fun to watch. Yame Torres, if you know anything about the MX-5s, you know that Sonny Cancian is like the king of that car.
Oh, yeah.
Torres can race right with him, so this is fun to see him out here. Yeah.
So I've heard of Yame Torres, but this is the first time I've actually seen him on track. So, liking what I've seen so far.
Yeah, I've never seen him in a high-powered open-wheel car like this, but we'll see how it translates over. Nice little battle for 7th. That's Morgan. And okay, as we ride on board with Torres, you're looking up at Morgan, who is the lead car, and then Colomb next in Torres' hit list. And he's got a pretty good run on him now, Adam. Here he comes.
I think he's going to try to go to the outside here, going into the first part of the loop, and I think, Colomb's just going to let him go.
And Youngbluth, right ahead of these guys, has spun in the inner loop. They will all vulture this position. Youngbluth was in 5th.
Oh, that looked to be exactly like what happened with Gestal earlier. Just kind of hit that first curb going into the inner loop. And I think what it's doing, I think these cars sit just slow enough that I think it's rising the back end where you don't have the rear tires on the ground, so you lose the rear traction. You'll see it here in just a second, going down the back straightaway. You'll see what I mean.
Yep. Boy. That was just nasty. That didn't seem like he deserved that for that.
No, and it's one of those things though too. All right, so Garrison takes the lead. In fact, wow, he really put a big gap on Brain.
I'm going to go back and see if Brain has. We're going to look at the pass, and I looking to see if Brain made a mistake. No, he just got him, and then he drove away from him. just your basic pass going into the inner loop.
Yeah, I think Garrison just got sitting back there waiting on him.
There he goes, and then there he goes. Opening up now about a second over Brain. Boy, with a 16-minute race on a small amount of cars here, I'm going to try to limit my Animaniac references here if I can with Josh Brain.
Hey, got a battle for 4th and 5th here. Vincent Brim, Ludwig Sauer going at it.
A couple drivers racing out of the Benelux Club. These guys are both veterans of this series. Countless laps raced against each other, and honestly, they're very competitive. They race.
Ludwig Sauer back in, steps out. No harm, no foul, other than just pride on this one. Not even position. Doesn't quite fall back to Torres and Morgan, which, by the way, Torres now passed Morgan.
Morgan let him by, so that is very bad news for Sauer because Torres now about 2.2 seconds back. That'll be fun to watch, see how long it takes for the Iberian Peninsula driver. I should know if, Yami's from Portugal. Yeah, I know this for sure. Garrison, Brain, Burns, Bream, Sauer, your top 5.
And you got Garrison out there right now, and Garrison running away from Brain. Now that gap is now over 2 seconds. Before too long, Brain's going to be falling back into the clutches of David Burns. Looks like Frederick Neptune is going to be our first retiree of the day. I don't think he ever got back on track.
Oh, no!
Oh,
what has happened to Mr. Clean? Gosh darn it, it's the inner loop again. Well, he almost caught this. He was fighting this one. Watch how long he fights this through the entire chicane. This happens right here, and he fights it all the way. I've got it. I've got it. Oh, I don't have it. I've got it. I've got it. I've got it. Wait, I don't have it. Uh-oh.
Oh, great hand time trying to fight that. Now, I will say, too, you did see him nose it into the Armco, and I don't see a lot of damage on the front of that car. So, at the end of the day, pride in position. I think that's going to be pretty much the marker here. Pride in position.
Let's go to 7th. Now, this is an interesting little dynamic we got going on here. Fabian Youngbooth qualified in 4th. He spun the car in the inner loop, the same place that we've seen so many incidents so far. I don't think the car picked up any damage, so he's going to be fast. He's ready to run down Richard Colomb here. Shouldn't take too long.
Yeah, a lot of those guys are having problems in the inner loop, with the exception of John Morgan, have all taken it to the sand trap there, and it's been doing its job. It's stopping the cars before it gets to the Armco, so they've been able to get back out on track and get going again.
Something I'm waiting for. I'd really like iRacing to make those sand traps a little more sandy, if you know what I mean. A little more. Have a little more effect on the cars.
We got to get the tow truck to get one of these Formula cars out?
Yeah. I kind of like that.
Can we have animate the? We gotta have to animate the tow truck though.
I'll go for that.
All right.
But I don't think it's gonna be long here until Fabian gets the best of Richard. This battle for 7th. Don't want to go there. I just want to, all you little soldiers in Soup's clipboard army, I'm going to give you a number. 3.8 seconds. That's the gap between Sawyer and Torres. We'll see what Torres can do as he tries to run down Sawyer for 5th position. But the action right now is back here with Colomb and Youngbooth. Taking a quick look at Youngbluth's car after he took his trip to the beach. It looks okay. Of course, you never know about the undercarriage, but usually the sand isn't too harsh on these guys.
I'll say his lap times really haven't fallen off or anything. I mean, he still ran a 38 that last time by. We'll see what he can do this time by. Granted, he's blocked behind Colomb. So, 39.
Yeah. He would really like to get this done. because he would also like to get up there and maybe take a shot of racing with Sawyer a little bit later.
Kaluma, it looked like he was really kind of pushing a little bit going through the S's, and that's going to allow Fabian here to get a great run on him going down the back straightaway.
Yeah, you can see that coming. He might finish this even before they get to the chicane. Yeah, and a little bit of an assist there from Kalomu. Could read the writing on the wall. So Young Bluth gets by. There's about 2 seconds up to Torres. Now, keep in mind, Young Bluth qualified 4th. Torres didn't put in a qualifying time, so I'm not really sure what he's doing right now. We'll keep an eye on that one, see if Young Bluth can run him down.
We might. We know Young Bluth can rip off some 38s where Torres is just doing 39s in clean air, mind you. So be interesting to see her. But I think Young Bluth can get to Torres, but it might be one of those things where they're just close enough where passing him might be a completely different story. I'll say this here, Soup, too. Usually when we have an hour-long race and we're only talking about, what do we have to take the grid? 12 cars. It makes me a little bit worried as a commentator, but keeping things interesting. I mean, as soon as one battle wraps up, we have another one forming somewhere else. So these guys putting on a pretty good show out there here today on IESN.
Talk about IESN, the best of the best in the iRacing World Championship, as well as many private leagues like the one you're watching right now, are showcased right here on the iRacing Esports Network. You know, if you haven't done so yet, make sure you are a subscriber on their YouTube channel. GSRC is proud to be part of the IESN stable of broadcasters. And as we look at the interval between Brain and Burns trying to run him down. There are a few more broadcasts yet today on IESN. Coming up next in just a few minutes after this thing closes up, maybe about half an hour or so, will be GSRC's coverage of the Weekend Warriors. SRFs. I think they're at Monza today.
Yeah. So I get to make the quick hop over.
Oh, you going over there, huh? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Looking at Josh Brain runs a little bit wide there. As I say, I tried talking him into running the oval layout in the SRFs there at Monza, but they wouldn't have any.
That would be fun to watch. The combined would be all right. Combined on board with Brain. All right, let's stay on Josh here for a minute, and let's watch what he does into corner number 1. This is an issue that I have. I am not a big fan of track boundaries. I like this rule. Let's see. Come on, now don't let me down, Josh. Let's run her a little bit wide here. There you go. Take it on out past the curving there. I watched an IndyCar race at COTA a couple weeks ago where they took off the boundaries. I thought it was fun.
There's certain parts of COTA, in real life, obviously, we're talking about here, that you run wide. Like, you're kind of doing so at your own risk.
Oh, they were going wide out of 1.
Oh, yeah.
1 and 19. Uh-oh. What happened here? Brame lost a position. Now, what happened there? We might have been watching this.
Here, maybe he got loose. He spun it out of 1.
Made up, not loose. Yeah, this is a very
little bit more than, kind of loose.
Great job. It might be fun to watch this one from Ludwig Sauer's point of view as well once we find it.
Woo! Guy that really watch is going to be Torres.
There we go. There goes Torres. Oh, there's Torres right there. There you go. Yeah, Sauer got to pass a stationary car. Torres had to pass a moving car and had to take it out onto the grass. This will be fun.
It's like, no idea he's there until the exit of 1, and then he's there.
Oh, my. Well done. So another spot for Jaume Torres now started 12th without a qualifying time up to 6th. The gap, 2.4 seconds between Sauer and Torres. Young Bluth behind Torres, about a second back. And then Colom has lost touch with Young Bluth.
Yeah, your next battle will be shaping up here as Young Bluth and Brem get caught back up to Torres.
All right, now this could be a scheduled stop for Richard Colom here.
Yeah, we're about 22 minutes into it. Yeah, that's probably very likely scheduled.
Gonna break
Vincent
it up
Brem coming in as well.
into even thirds.
Oh, Vincent Brem looks like maybe something else happened to him here. Yeah, he ended up having the back end come out on him and chased it. And this is one time the gravel trap did not stop him.
Well, this is interesting. This is after the spin that he had in corner number 1. We just watched him.
Yeah, maybe seen a little bit of red there and just overdrove it. What you can't see there, thanks to the third generation iRacing tree, is him nosing it into the tires.
If you're a poker player, that's called being on tilt. When you've had the best hand and you've lost it, sometimes you just kind of end up losing more money when you really shouldn't there.
Brian coming in. And it looks like Brain had just lost a spot during all of that to actually he let David Burns go by. Not sure if he was running out of fuel already or whatever, but Brain moved into third before the pit stop.
Garrison and Burns stay out. Josh Brain makes his stop. Interesting. We'll have to see how this plays out in relationship to Burns after what Adam just talked about. So, of all the cars who have pitted, Brain will be first. Sauer comes out ahead of Torres by about 2 seconds. With just under 40 minutes to go of racing, plenty of time for Torres to get there if he has the pace. Racing in 10th position is Lance Simon. He's in and out.
By the way, Vincent Brem fans, he has decided to call it a day after that accident.
So add him to the list, joining Frederick
Garrison
Neptune
coming down pit road. Add him to the list of people coming down pit road. And Burns right behind him.
Garrison should be able to get in and out quick. Now, don't be fooled though, folks. This is a 2-stop race, so Burns can cheat a little bit here if he wants to. He can short fill and stay on the back of Garrison. Of course, it's a pay me now, pay me later type thing. He'll have to take longer stint next time. These windows are not real tight. Okay, Brain is out of the final corner. Garrison is rolling on track. The question is, when will Burns go? Burns rolling now. This will be the interesting one. Here comes Brain. Burns gets it out on track first. I think Burns is going to have him comfortably.
Yeah, I really wonder why Brain let him by as much as he did. And it was coming down into the boot, and he just pulled right over, got off the gas when Burns was still seconds behind him. So I don't know if he was already running out of fuel, or maybe he just short-filled right off the start of the race or something, but obviously you can see the impact that it's had on his standings with Burns right now.
So with everybody coming in, let's take this opportunity to run through the field. We'll alternate. I'll take the evens, I'll take the odds, and Adam can have the evens. In first place, it's going to be Dennis Garrison. He started on the pole. That's where he's been the whole time. Comfortably ahead now by 6.3 seconds. Who's chasing him?
Yeah, we got David Burns back there. Now that gap now about 6.5 seconds or so. David Burns running third most of the race. He now has second position, and see if he's able to hold on to it. Of course, you're a championship standing leader right now.
Josh Brain led early on the first 2 or 3 laps. Then he fell back to second, then surrendered the spot to Burns right before the pit stop. He sits in third, about 2.5 seconds behind Burns. Quite a distance to the guy who's chasing him.
Yeah, we fall back to Ludwig Sauer. And Ludwig right now running in fourth in car number 4 and started the race in 5th. So, but he also had some problems earlier on, but now recovering from those, able to run in the top 5. But he's got trouble coming up behind him.
I told you to watch out for him. He didn't put in a qualifying time. It's the man out of Portugal, Jaume Torres. He is now he's less than a second, about 7/10 of a second on Sauer. So we'll hustle through this run through the field, come back, see how this plays out. Who's after Torres?
We have Fabian Youngbluth, another guy that had some problems, is trying to recover from him. And he's going to be trying to get involved in that battle if it ends up happening, only a couple seconds behind those guys.
A quiet run from Marcus Gastal. We saw him get into some trouble early, up 2 spots, gridded in 9th, racing in 7th. He's got about 9 seconds on the next guy.
Yeah, that would be Ricard Colum, who is out there now running in 8th. It seems like everybody back here is getting bit by the inner loop or one of those curves here, but clean cars.
Talk about clean. John Morgan only had 3 incidents coming into this race. He'll have a few more now as he spun the car and actually made some contact with the wall. He races in 9th. Who's after?
And that would be Lance Simon, our last car out there, still running. About 1:09 behind your leaders, so we'll see him probably get lapped here in about the next 10 minutes or so. But, he's having one of those days. We haven't talked about him at all, which is probably not a bad thing.
And if we get through with that, we can jump right up to the battle that we thought would be heating up. And sure enough, my goodness, that pot is boiling on the stove right now, and that is Torres right on the back of Sauer. Best battle on the track. They are about 2 seconds ahead of Youngbluth, who's watching on. Only a matter of time, I think, until this goes Torres' way. We talked about Lance Simon, who was racing in 10th. He just spun the car. Guess where he spun the car, Adam? Take a pick. Take
the inner loop.
That's where it was. We stay on this battle. I'm going to try colors. The blue-purple car is Sauer. The yellow and green car, whatever it is, the citrus-flavored car is Torres. The car making the pass is Torres right now. Here they come. Careful, boys. This has been the Achilles heel of so many this race. Torres negotiates. He gets the pass made. Director, how'd I do on colors there? Is that yellow? That car yellow? All right. Thumbs up from my director on both of those. I got them right. If my 6-year-old niece is watching, she'll be happy. Last week, she took me by the hand and said, "Uncle Soup, I'm sorry you never learned your colors."
Oh, that little bit of a pass right there got Fabian Youngbluth about a second closer to those guys, so he might be close enough to start catching some draft from Ludwig Sauer. Not quite sure yet. The draft profile behind these cars isn't as much as some other places.
We ride on board with Youngbluth looking up ahead. He did make up a lot of time. Not sure if it was from pace or just the battling, like Adam said, that was going on in front of him. The gap, well, you can see about 1.5 seconds. So, can Torres get to Josh Brain? Well, that's a tall order. He still has half an hour to do it. The gap is 10 seconds.
I think you'd have to have a few things go right at this point.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a lot of these guys' lap times, and a lot of ways these guys are actually running pretty close to each other. So, we'll see.
Remember, there is another stop that is scheduled.
Ooh, Marcus Gastal loses it here in turn 1.
Careful going by. That is Richard Colomb gets the spot. There's Colomb gets safely by. We're going to take a look at this one. Boy, if it's not the inner loop, it's corner number 1.
I'm actually surprised we haven't seen more in corner number 1, because when you do use that runoff area, I mean, it flattens out. And you'll see here with Gastal, I mean, the car will hit that and then it starts to come around on him. And I would think when it flattens out right there, it would upset the car a little bit more. But for the most part, guys have been okay with it.
Come back. Torres doing his very best to run away from Sauer, which is happening. And doing his very best to get up to Sauer is Youngbluth. And again, I want to point this out. I don't want to drill this point home, but remember, Youngbluth qualified in 4th, 1 spot ahead of Sauer. So he has the pace. He just made a mistake that cost him a lot of time, a lot of track position. If you like today's racing, come back and join us. We'll be back in 2 weeks. It'll be Cinco de Mayo. Too bad we can't go to a racetrack somewhere in Mexico. Got to get iRacing on top of that. We're going to be going something very un-Cinco de Mayo-ish, and we're going to be going to the Grand Prix circuit at the New
Cinco de Mayo is wherever you want a Cinco de Mayo.
So you're saying that I can get a margarita in Germany if I want one, right?
I know you can get some cervezas.
Okay. Myself a
Good cerveza.
Dos Equis, yeah.
Well, I don't know if they got doughs, but I mean, I'll go give me some Hofbrauhaus. Why not?
Doing a little filling right now, but I did go to Europe, and it is true. The beer is room temperature in some places. I was able to get a cold beer when I asked for it, but I can't get into room temperature beer. That's just not right. I'll tell you somebody right now who is not room temperature. He's out cooking with hot fish grease. That is Dennis Garrison. 6.4 seconds up on his next competition.
I think he realized that some of the guys were starting to set faster lap times than he was, so he decided to go ahead and start trying to turn it back up a notch. Ran a 39 there, now back down into the 38s. He's starting to... He's maintaining that gap between him and Burns right now.
Garrison was best in class if you took away the performance that we had from the Swede with Speed, Alex Jansson, last season. I believe it was last season. With these short 7 and 8 lap schedules, boy, the seasons turn around quickly. Sometimes it's hard to remember if it was last season or the season before. This is season number 16. I love the format. I tell you, Adam, you and I both cover series that sometimes go on way too long. Not gonna. Some are great. We have some long series. I'm telling you, Lionheart puts on a great series that goes on for a long time, but sometimes a short one is the way to go.
Here, Gastal had another problem, and he's missing the rear wing
number
of his
one.
car.
Yeah, this one put him upside down. All right, I hope you've had your Easter breakfast already, because this one might get you a little nauseous here. Whee! First we do one of these pirouettes, and then we do one of those. That was a goofy-footed McTwist with a hammer hook.
And not surprisingly, he called it a day.
So he joins other drivers, Vincent Brame and Frederick Neptune. So they're watching the broadcast now from the comfort of their recliner chair. All right, Garrison's got a little lap traffic to negotiate here. Coming up on the back of a man racing inside the top 10, Lance Simon. Lance racing out of the Great Plains here in the United States. Gets out of the way. For all you Europeans, Great Plains, that's
Central part.
east of the Rocky Mountains there where we do all of our growing. Uh-oh. Ludwig Sauer spins right in front. Oh, what a great job from Fabian Youngbluth. This will be fun to watch a couple times. Huh. Youngbluth doing a little Bronco riding here.
So maybe he's check his heart rate. Trying to motocross over that thing.
Yeah. I'm not so sure that Youngbluth's car is going to be all that happy, but it was really... You'll get a good view of it here, probably from Sauer, as you'll see Youngbluth bounce by. There you go. Whoa, there you see Sauer. Man, that's got to hurt the lower spine and coccyx.
Testing out the new off-road truck model, just wrong type of vehicle.
Yeah. That's when you got to hope you don't have your butt kicker turned up to 10. Or it's like they say in Spinal Tap, turn it up to 11. All right, I don't think Youngblood has the pace. Here comes Sauer. I don't think that car looks healthy.
His front wing's a little bent. I don't think he's going to have the forward grip he needs anymore. Because I don't think it was so much the jump, itself. I think it was when he kind of came down. It kind of came down nose first.
Hey, when I told you, I'm just going to give you some numbers. When I told you that with 30 minutes to go, Jaume Torres was 10 seconds back. Well, now it's 6 minutes later. He's knocked off about a second and a half. There's a chance that Torres might be able to get there. Certainly, he's close enough where Brain has to be perfect now. Can't make any mistakes.
Yeah, I think a large part of it's going to be what happens on this next round of pit stops. And really, you could say the same thing even about Garrison and Burns. I mean, how much closer are they going to be here after the last round of pit stops? Do they do any kind of difference as far as who took what amount of fuel, so things definitely could still be in play here.
We look at that. Well, that's going on. Let's check in on David Burns, and we're going to talk a little bit about Backmarker United. Of course, there's probably a chapter somewhere near you. Check him in. Go on up and say, hello, my name is Soup, and I'm a proud backmarker. We'll see how this plays out, as Lance Sam is going to have to get out of the way of David Burns. Simon having a good run, started in 11th, up 2 spots.
First taker down pit road is Fabian Youngbluth. I don't know if this is for damage or not, but we are within that window that we saw a lot of guys pit before, so maybe he's just figuring coming in now, get a little bit of it fixed.
Yeah, I gotta figure he's coming in the get what can be done. All right, let's go up, and Burns does get around Simon nicely. Lance, well done. If Lance shows up at your Backmarker United meeting, make sure you give him the comfortable chair up front. And Youngbluth comes out. The car you saw behind him, that was Richard Colomb. That will be a battle for position, but it's a faux battle as Colomb still needs to make his second stop. Garrison, 8 seconds up.
One thing to watch out for here, it could be this battle between second and third between Burns and Brain. Brain's actually been able to close that gap a little bit here over the last 5 or so laps, because it was about 2 seconds, a little bit over 2 seconds, and now we're looking at it being about a second and a half. I think, okay, we're still right about 2 seconds. It looked a little bit closer than before, but either way, Brain isn't letting him go.
He is coming, and I'll tell you, Torres now has that gap down. Well, now, boy, he must have made a mistake. He had it down to under 8 seconds. And he just, can we go get a replay? Right when I said it, Jaume Torres loses it in corner number 1. Maybe we'll be able to find this one. Happened just right now. Just a few seconds back. We'll take a peek at this one. Torres was coming. He was really closing the gap like David Letterman's dentist. And then he makes this mistake into 1. Now, there's the final corner. He had it down to, actually, I saw it, it was down to 7.7 seconds. He was feeling really good. Let's see if he loses it before going over the curbs or after. Oh, he got it on the inside curbs.
All right, I've taken an important note in this. If I ever race this car at Watkins Glen, don't touch the curbs.
My gosh. Something you probably learned. You can get away with that in the MX-5, not so much in these. Would not be surprised to see Jaume Torres racing later on today. Now, it won't be on the iRacing Esports Network, but he may make an appearance in the Big C's MX-5 Challenge. That's going to be coming up much later today. 4:30 Eastern. You want to check on that. There is some top tier. It's fixed setups. They're MX-5s, and a lot of the big names are in that one. It's a new series. We're glad to have it here on GSRC And I'll bet you'll see Almas Torres up there battling with big names with like Sonny Canchin and Robert Hartley. If you're a driver, and Yaume, if you go in there, tell him Soup said hi. Are you covering that one too, Adam? I know you've had a busy day. You're not on that one too, are you?
No. I'll just be here and then making the trip over to Monza.
To Monza, okay. The leader of all the cars who have pitted that second time, it is Fabian Youngbluth. As I say that now, Richard Colomb comes in to make his stop. Again, it's a pretty big window. While you might want to think that you do it in make 20-minute segments, pit at 20, pit at 40, that's really not the case. You can go long and splash and go. Often when the fields are big, the drivers decide to make their pit stop depending on the lap traffic in front of them. Right now, it's a nice Sunday drive for everybody. Burns makes his stop. Now, he was able to jump Brain during the pit cycle. So it's possible that Burns maybe did not fill it up all the way the first time. He may have to spend a little more time filling it up this time. We'll see how it plays out. The veteran comes in, gets his spot. He's rolling real quick. Young Bluth is just working his way through corner number 9 right now. Burns comes out still in 5th position.
Yeah, I'd have to think Garrison or Brain will be coming in here this next time by. You don't want to let any kind of advantage happen here. Of course,
Josh Brain
Garrison had enough of a gap. He can pretty much do whatever he wants at this point.
coming around. Josh Brain is not a laboratory mice. His genes have not been spliced. He is Josh Brain. Just don't know if the Animaniacs
I've got nothing.
Okay.
I'll anytime we bring up the Animaniacs reference, I just wonder if he wants to take over the world. That's all I got.
Indeed. That's what you get when you get yourself a 12-car field with an hour to go. And Brain is in. Where is Burns? Burns is in 10. Coming around to 11. Out of 11. Burns on the start, heading down towards the start-finish line. Brain just getting to his stall right now. Now he's rolling. Burns goes by. And Brain says, "Narf." As he's down in what would be 4th right now. It'll be 3rd overall when everybody makes their stop.
His plans are foiled again.
All right, we're done. We are done. I'm shutting the door on all the Pinky and the Brain references.
I'll give you 2 minutes on that.
You know. Lance Simon has had an issue. Oh, and this one was pretty significant. Well, you see those cones there. That's telling the drivers to turn right to go into the inner loop.
Looks like this one, it wasn't so much the curbs. He just kind of lost the back end. He's got some front wing damage, but I don't think he ever really hit the Armco too hard.
Well, the bad news for Simon is he spun the car. The good news is I don't think anyone's going to pass him as he was last on the track. And if he can go in, maybe did he make his stop yet? He still had a stop to make, so if he limps that car around, come on and get some damage going out and see if he can vulture a few more spots. I'm not sure Watkins Glen is done with these drivers yet. Leader is in.
Leader is out.
David Burns just crossing the start-finish line right now. Sauer is in, and Brain goes by, so Brain goes back into third. Now Taurus is rolling, and Taurus is going to go into fourth.
And here's Ludwig Sauer. He's in his box. He's rolling again now. Behind him comes Lance Simon.
Sauer is out. Sauer sorts out into fifth. Brain, who we look at Simon. See if he gets some done. Come on out. Maybe Lance might be calling it a day. Richard Colomb, the last car on the lead lap. Has he made his stop? He has. All the stops are done. John Morgan is in the pits right now. And Colomb is going to get. We're going to have a pass for a position. Richard Colomb takes over 7th as John Morgan brings it out of pit lane in 8th. Nevertheless, a good points day for John, even though he is last car running in a small field like this. Going to get himself 8th place point. A baker's dozen worth of minutes remaining. Dennis Garrison in good position. Burns is up by 3 seconds and beginning to pull away from Josh Brain.
Now, Soup, I believe, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I believe with the second place finish today, that would wrap up the championship for Burns.
Yeah, with 42 coming into this one, I would think so. Without the guys that are chasing him anywhere to be found, yeah, I think hopefully come and give the interview. I'm going to officially, either you or I, whoever gets the pleasure of interviewing him, can go ahead and award him the season 16 Formula Eagle Championship. Unless they come up with some retroactive penalty points, which is always up to the series organizer's discretion to add a little drama into it. Let's ask David J. Burns what the J stands for today. Okay, we've had him a lot of times and we've never asked him that. I'm going to take a guess. Junkyard is the guess from our director. All right, I'm going to get the odds right now. Joshua is even money. He's from England. I'm going to with James. I think James could be a possible as well. So James is 2-1. Joshua is even money. Get your bets down. $1 wins you 2 if you bet James. So, we go to our leader. The question is he going to be able to get to John Morgan? I don't think so. Morgan is going into the toe right now. And our leader, what part of the footwear are you? You're not even there. You're going into the laces. All right.
Yeah, I think Morgan and Colomb are safe.
Closest battle on the track remains Burns and Brain. You know, Adam, we've done this though before. We've seen drivers who've opened up a 10-second lead, a 12-second lead, and had a spin that cost them 11 seconds, and every second they gained was important. So Burns is in that position right now. While it doesn't really matter, I think if even he brings it home third, he's going to be fine, but he still can't make a mistake because he's only 3 seconds back to Josh Brain.
Yeah, right now I think as far as any kind of battles I can develop, it might be Klum and Morgan, but even that's going to be kind of, I think, a stretch here at this point. As long as there are no mistakes made, like you bring up here, Sue.
Well, they can yell at each other.
They could. I don't know how effective that would be. There's engines and they're loud.
The gap is 2 seconds and shrinking a bit. So, come on, John. Let's see what you can do. I know you like to pride yourself on being clean. Let's see if you can run him down. We see you. Kalum will see him. He's knocked off about 1/10 of a second. He only has 9 minutes to get this done. He's coming. Keep an eye on this one. He's closing. I think he's listening to the broadcast. Oh, and there you go.
Oh.
See? You put the pressure on him, and that's what happens. That's all mental on John Morgan. Oh, boy. He gave him the evil eye.
Let's see, the inside curb there.
Right on board with Mr. Clean.
That now I picture John Morgan as a bald-headed big guy.
Bald guy. Yeah, you have to probably learn.
That couldn't fit into the car. Thanks.
Go ahead, and if you're European, go ahead and Google Mr. Clean. It's a kind of a logo of a cleaning product here in the States. Boy, he would be a good driver. All right, so John Morgan does what he does, picks up another spot. Looking at a 7th as he negotiates the inner loop. Heading down to the Calliope. Oh, I'm sorry, the merry-go-round. No, it's the carousel soup. Listen to him as it plays over the waves. Through the chute. Over the laces. Into the toe. Now the sole that is between the toe and the heel. Around the heel, this is the right-hander. Then the little Achilles straight up into corner number 9. About 40% of those track names were artificial, so please don't quote me on those. There are no laces, sole, or Achilles straight, but there should be. Seven minutes to go. This is Dennis Garrison. You may want to wonder what Garrison has done so far this season. Well, I can tell you that. He's been in 2 races. He has a 2nd and a 5th. Got that 2nd at Snetterton. That was a fun race. Hope we go back there. There was a lot of horsepower on a little track. Yeah, that was race number 1.
Now, how big was that field? Because I didn't get a chance to see it.
I believe it was a fairly good sized field.
Yeah, I mean, I figured usually the first couple races out of any ABL season they're huge.
Well, how about there were 24 drivers here, I think?
24 at Snetterton in these cars? Woo,
Yeah.
that sounds like fun, actually.
Yeah. Right on board with the veteran, Ricard Coulon, the Canadian driver. Been around a long time in this series. Going to be another good finish for him.
And I do think that with his spin, though, that our leader, Dennis Garrison, is going to be able to catch him here before the end of this race. I mean, they're on the same straightaway now.
Garrison can see him. There's Just under 5 minutes to go. Cologne would really like to finish on the lead lap, and it wouldn't surprise me Garrison with a 10-second gap back to Burns might just want to let Cologne do just that. Burns in second. I really think that Jaume Torres had a shot to get to Brain if he didn't lose it in corner number 1, cost him a lot of time. Brain's going to come home in third. Brain might be a previous F2 champion, if my memory serves me correctly. He's since been promoted. Big controversy this season, Adam. You weren't here. Was they did the numbers and did the math, and it ended up that Mikkel Hofladeson was ranked as an F2 driver. That got the surprise of a lot of people.
That is very surprising.
Yeah. Well, it's not based on your speed; it's based on your finishing position. Is that Cologne getting out of the way? So,
yeah. There's a guy there. You'd be hard pressed to find a guy that's had as good finishes and as much bad luck and weighing part of races in Mikkel Hofladeson.
Yeah. All right, so a tip of the hat there to Richard Colombo. Does a good job of getting out of the way. That means 7 cars are on the lead lap. John Morgan, I believe you are safe, baby. Don't think the leader's going to get to you. Garrison, Burns, Brain, Torres, Sauer, Youngbluth, and Morgan. The 7 cars on the lead lap. Only 8 are racing. Nope, let me correct myself. Lance Simon has brought that car back out. Good for you, Lance. Still out there waiting to vulture a few spots if somebody makes a blunder here with just under 3 minutes to race. There's Lance. We'd like to call the Dory Award if you're a fan of Finding Nemo, the little Dory fish which sing just keep swimming, and that's what we think Lance Simon is doing right now. Dennis Garrison has wins under his belt in this series, but not as many as you might expect. This will be his first one of the season. And what better place to pick one up than Watkins Glen? Look at that beautiful New York sky. Oh my goodness. I hope the two-dimensional fans bought their sunscreen, because there's no clouds in the sky. Those rays are pounding down. I went through and did a little look on the two-dimensional fans. I think iRacing might have upgraded the quality of the two-dimensional. There's a lot of attractive women. If you haven't had a chance, scroll through some of the two-dimensional fans here. There's some pretty girls out there that come to watch racing here.
We're waiting to see if that was the white flag or if he was just a second or two before he would have gotten the white flag.
Because I've resorted to talking about the prettiness of the two-dimensional female.
I'll say this: you've hung by. You're done with Pinky and the Brain.
I did not go there. I'm a man of my word. God, do we know if this is the white flag at 57? We think it is. We're going to consider it that it is. All right. We have different softwares telling us different things. I wonder if
it always gets a little wonky with it. Literally, it was within a second or two. I mean, I was watching when he came across the line, so we'll see. Always like that word, wonky.
That's it. As he heads down into the heel. Up into corner number 9 for the last time. The car ahead of him is John Morgan. John, you're safe, especially if the checker flag's waving this time. We're not sure. Will Garrison see the gingham flag here? We'll find out in just a minute. He's out of the final corner. And I'm showing white flag. I think it means he's going around one more time.
Alrighty.
One more time. Oh, John Morgan gets lapped. Oh, my goodness. You were 2 seconds away from finishing on the lead lap.
Oh, Torres is missing his front wing.
Yao Mei, what were you doing? Get this out of the way before you get to the
Another
MX5.
curb.
And there we go. He was racing in fourth.
See him coming out here. He's going to hit the curb.
Now we go back to the leader. Now the fact that John Morgan got lapped, I'm not sure he's going to get Torres's position. We'll find out how that works. That may end up saving Torres one spot. Sauer gets them. All right. Into the heel. I am almost positive that this will be the final lap. And the checker flag will wave. 2 more corners for Dennis Garrison. A left and a right. Season 16 of the Absolute Beginner League's Formula Eagle, the penultimate round, goes to Dennis Garrison. David Third Degree Burns will get second, and we are going to give him the Season 16 championship in the process. Josh Brain led a few laps, will get the final podium spot. Sawyer, Lungbluth.
Sawyer out of gas?
That was that extra lap. Ludwig Sawyer is going to run out of gas. Unless
Fabian Youngbluth might be out too.
Unless these guys have finished. No, I believe they're... Do you think they're on their cooldown lap, or did they... I'm looking to see if timing and scoring. Yeah. But John Morgan is done, as did Richard Colomb, and so I'm not really sure it's really going to matter, other than a battle between Sawyer. Now let's go up to Sawyer in fourth. Yeah. Look at Sawyer. Look at Sawyer right now. He is 4 feet away from finishing the race, and he's going to lose a position.
His car's running.
Oh, all right, maybe.
Is he waiting on Youngbluth?
He's just teasing.
We're curious. We got to stay with us just because we're curious.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We got nothing else to do. Youngbluth through the heel. Into 9. Maybe this is some interesting team orders here that we're not aware of. All right, Youngbluth coming around. This will be a pass for position as Youngbluth goes through 10. It's coasting to get there. 11. All right, now here you go. You're on board with Youngbluth. Sawyer is dead in the water, or at least, or is this sitting there? Will Youngbluth pass him at lightning speed? I'm gonna bump him across. That's how you do it. Okay, Sawyer gets 4th. Youngbluth gets 5th. The racing is over. That was kind of interesting. Now, we'll come back to run down the entire finishing order, talk to some of the drivers before we put a lock on the gate. You're watching GSRC on IESM. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing coverage of the Formula Eagle Season 16 Championship, the penultimate round here from Watkins, Glen, streaming cyberspace into your place via the iRacing Esports Network. The results are in. Let's give those to you right now of the 12 drivers that actually took to the grid. I'll take the top 6. Dennis Garrison started on the pole. He gets the win. David Burns comes home in second, and we are calling him the 2016 champion. Josh Brain gets the final podium spot. Ludovic Sauer ran out of fuel. Fabian Youngbooth was able to push him across the line as they go 4th and 5th. John Morgan, thanks to some problems ahead of him, will get a 6th place finish. First car 1 lap down. Adam?
Yeah, it's then we go from there to Richard Colum, 7th, Jaume Torres in 8th. Lance Simon was able to hang in there in 9th, and then a couple of guys that weren't able to make it the rest of the way. Marcus Gastal, Vincent Brem, Frederick Neptune, all running into race-ending trouble in the second half of that race.
And there's your finishing order here for the penultimate round. Now we have the honor of talking to our race winner. We're going to bring him down in here in a minute. We're going to talk to David Third Degree Burns. Okay, he was not our race winner. Let me correct myself. He came home in second. But I do believe, David, I'm going to announce it. I think the math is done on this one. You're the champion.
Oh, finally. It's only taken, 10, almost 11 seasons? Yay.
We talked about it in the opening. I equated it to NBA fans having NBA players who couldn't get championships because of Michael Jordan and golfers who couldn't get titles because of Tiger Woods. You couldn't get one during the Errol Num era. We got rid of him, and finally you hung in there. Congratulations.
Oh, thanks. It's been a long time coming. But you know what's actually funny? My first win, I got 2 in a row. This season, in the other championship, I won that one as well, so I got 2 in a row.
There you go. Hey, do you think you're more competitive in these higher power cars than you are in the Skippy?
I think it's easier to be faster in these because there's a bit more in the setup. Like there wasn't a lot of people here today, but there was a few different setups. I don't know if you picked it up because Dennis and Josh had a higher downforce, whereas I was running a lower downforce. I couldn't get the higher downforce to work because the car becomes too twitchy for me, and that makes my consistency go off. So there was a difference in setups in this track.
Well, talk about twitchy. We've noticed now, I don't know if it's the setups on the cars, but some cars would get on the curb and it was all she wrote. It was over. The inner loop was just picking them off one after the next.
Yeah, that's the higher downforce one, because the lower downforce one, you can't, with the F3, you can't really take a lot of curb, but if you've got lower downforce, you can get away with it, but it upsets it with a higher downforce. So if you saw cars spinning, they were probably in the...
All right, let's get you out of here on this one.
Hey,
go ahead.
I got to sneak one in here real quick because you've got to settle something for me and Soup here now that you've got the championship and everything else. At least we believe so. What are you celebrating with there, David? Warm beer or cold beer?
Oh, this is very gay, but I've actually got some Prosecco in the fridge. So it's Prosecco, not beer.
Oh, and wait, there's one more thing. We got to settle a bet here for the fans. It was even money that the J stood for Joshua, 2-1 odds. If it was James, what does the J stand for?
It's James.
James. All right, so all you guys who put money on James, you doubled your money. Congratulations. All right, David, James, Third Degree Burns picks up his first championship. Congratulations. You know what? You're our only interview, so I'm going to give you one more question. Any scoop on what's coming up next? Are we staying with the car? Do we know anything? Any inside information?
To be honest, we haven't actually talked about it yet, so we probably will be doing that in the next couple of weeks. So I'm sorry, I haven't even got a scoop for you.
All right, well, we'll find out when the news breaks. All right, congratulations on the win, David. Way to go.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Adam, I'm glad you were here with me for that one. It was nice to have you around because you and I can both certainly appreciate that accomplishment.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming for David Third Degree Burns, and glad I got to be here for it.
The Absolute Beginner League. We got to thank them for organizing Formula Eagle and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. Thanks to the company, equipment, and software you see on the screen right now that we use on this show. The original music that gives every GSRC broadcast that unique flavor and feel. That's thanks to June Lalonde. See the screen to how to contact her. Formula Eagle returns in 2 weeks. It's Cinco de Mayo, and we're going to race from Mexico? No, but we are going to celebrate Cinco de Mayo from the Grand Prix circuit in the Nürburgring. GSRC and IESN will be there. We hope you join us. Wait a minute, though. This is the most important stuff. We're not done here. We got more racing to go. Next up on IESN is GSRC's Round 6 coverage of the Weekend Warriors. That's SRF's at Monza, and Adam Young is going to be leaving me flying over there right now to get to that one. That's going to start 3:45 Eastern time. That is what, about half an hour from now, I think.
Yep.
Slide across your screen are the upcoming broadcasts, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. If you'd like more information about GSRC, Global Sim Racing Channel, Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel, Instagram GSR Channel, and nope, I did that wrong. Come on, Sue. Twitter, GSR Channel, Instagram at GSRC_Graham. You got that? And while you're here, if you haven't done so yet, well, you actually go over to our YouTube page and become a YouTube subscriber so you don't miss anything here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. Finally, on behalf of the entire crew, that would be Adam, Sean, and Dougie. I'd like to thank all of you for watching as Dennis Garrison gets the first win of the season and Davis Burns picks up the 2016 Formula Eagle Championship. That said, we're off to have fun, storm of the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.